When you wake up at 4 a.m., the first thing you meet is not your phone, not people's expectations, not the pressure of the world. You meet silence, and silence is powerful because it tells the truth without shouting. In that quiet hour, you finally hear your own thoughts clearly, not the noise of fear, comparison, or regret, but the real voice inside you that has been waiting all day to speak. This silence teaches you patience. It slows your racing mind. It allows you to breathe deeply and intentionally, and in that breath you begin to understand yourself better. Early morning silence is not empty. It is full of clarity, reflection, and learning. It gives you the space to think before reacting, to plan before rushing, to grow before showing. When the world is asleep, you are awake not to prove anything to anyone, but to prepare your heart and mind for whatever the day may bring. This is the hour where you read not just books, but your own emotions, where you learn not just facts, but discipline, gratitude, and emotional balance. Silence at 4 a.m. is a teacher. It teaches you humility because no one is watching. It teaches you consistency because no one is applauding. And it teaches you strength because you choose to rise anyway. This is the time when prayers feel deeper, intentions feel purer, and focus feels natural. People think success is loud, but transformation is always quiet. In this silence, you stop running away from yourself and start walking toward yourself with honesty and courage. As often shared by Muniba Mazari, growth begins when you make peace with your own company. And that peace is found in these early hours when the world sleeps and you wake up ready to listen, learn, and become stronger from the inside out. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act, but discipline teaches you to act even when motivation is silent, tired, or completely absent. Waking up at 4 a.m. is not about feeling inspired. It is about making a decision and honoring it, no matter how you feel that day. Some mornings your body will resist, your mind will negotiate, and your comfort will beg you to stay where you are. But discipline is the quiet voice that says, get up anyway because your future deserves consistency, not excuses. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your character, and character is what carries you forward when emotions fail. Motivation is temporary. It depends on mood, energy, and circumstances, but discipline is a skill. And like every skill, it grows stronger the more you practice it. When you wake up early without waiting for motivation, you train your brain to obey your values instead of your feelings. And that is real power. Discipline builds self-trust, because each early morning is proof that you can rely on yourself. And when you trust yourself, your confidence becomes unshakable. This is not about punishing your body. It is about educating your mind to understand that growth requires effort, sacrifice, and repetition. Life will not always be kind, fair, or motivating, but discipline prepares you to show up anyway with dignity and strength. As often reminded by Muniba Mazari, you do not rise by waiting for perfect conditions. You rise by creating habits that carry you through imperfect days, and when discipline becomes your lifestyle, success is no longer an accident, but a predictable outcome driven by commitment, patience, and unwavering self-respect. Every time you wake up at 4 a.m., you make a quiet promise to yourself, and keeping that promise slowly rebuilds something most people lose over time: self-respect. Confidence does not come from big achievements alone. It is born in small moments when you do what you said you would do, especially when no one is watching. When you stop breaking promises to yourself, your mind starts to trust you again, and that trust becomes inner strength. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, and think differently because deep inside you know you are dependable. Small promises may seem insignificant, but they shape your identity because your brain is always listening to your actions, not your intentions. Each early morning tells your mind that your word matters. And when your word matters to you, your life begins to change. Self-respect is not about perfection, it is about consistency, and consistency is built one decision at a time. When you honor small commitments like Waking up early, reading a few pages, reflecting, or planning your day, you teach yourself discipline, patience, and responsibility. These lessons quietly spill into every area of life: your work, your relationships, and the way you handle challenges. People who respect themselves do not beg for validation, they create value through their actions. As often expressed by Muniba Mazari, when you stop doubting your own strength and start honoring your own efforts, even the smallest ones, you begin to heal from within. Self-respect grows when you stop waiting for others to believe in you and start proving it to yourself daily through simple, repeated actions that align with your values and dreams. When your day begins at 4 a.m., your mind wakes up before the chaos does, and that single shift changes everything inside you. Mental clarity is not something you find by chance. It's something you create by giving your brain space to breathe. In the early hours, your thoughts are not crowded by notifications, opinions, or pressure, and that calm allows you to think with depth instead of speed. You start to understand your emotions instead of being controlled by them, and that awareness becomes emotional strength. This is how you learn to pause before reacting, to choose wisdom over impulse, and to respond with grace even when life challenges you. Mental clarity sharpens your focus, and focus strengthens your decisions. When your mind is clear, fear loses its power, anxiety softens, and confidence begins to grow quietly from within. Early mornings train your brain to observe, not panic, to analyze, not assume, and to move forward with intention instead of confusion. Emotional strength is not about being unbreakable, it is about being flexible without losing yourself. In that calm hour, you learn how to sit with discomfort, process pain, and still choose growth. This habit becomes your emotional armor throughout the day, protecting you from unnecessary stress and draining negativity. When you start your day grounded, the world cannot shake you easily. As often reflected by Muniba Mazari, strength is not loud, it is calm, rooted, and aware. Waking up early gives you the power to meet life with a steady mind and a strong heart, not because problems disappear, but because you are mentally prepared to face them with courage, clarity, and inner balance. Consistency is not exciting, it is not glamorous, and it will never trend on social media, but it is the quiet force that builds unshakable confidence from the inside out. When you wake up at 4 a.m. again and again, even on days you feel tired, unmotivated, or unsure, you send a powerful message to yourself that you are reliable, that you can be trusted, that you do not disappear when things get uncomfortable. Confidence is not born from loud achievements. It grows from repeated proof that you can show up for your own life. Each consistent morning strengthens your belief in yourself, and that belief slowly changes the way you face challenges. You stop doubting your abilities because you have evidence of your commitment. You stop fearing failure because you know you will try again tomorrow. Consistency removes the fear of starting because you are no longer chasing perfection, you are building momentum. Small actions done daily rewire your mindset. They teach you patience, resilience, and self-control. Over time, these qualities shape your personality and make you emotionally steady. You become someone who does not quit easily, not because life got easier, but because you became stronger through routine. Confidence built through consistency is not arrogant, it is calm and grounded. You do not need validation because your actions speak louder than your words. As often shared by Muniba Mazari, when you stay consistent, even in silence, you allow growth to happen naturally. People may not notice your effort at first, but they will notice your strength later. Consistency teaches you that success is not about sudden breakthroughs, it is about showing up when no one is clapping, trusting the process, and allowing time to reward discipline. When you become consistent, confidence stops being something you search for and becomes something you carry with you every single day. Pain is not an invitation to quit, it is an invitation to transform, and routine is the bridge that turns suffering into purpose. When you wake up at 4 a.m., especially on days when your heart feels heavy, you are not denying your pain, you are giving it direction. Pain without structure becomes chaos, but pain with routine becomes strength. Those quiet mornings teach you how to stand up even when life has shut you down repeatedly. You stop asking why this happened to you and start asking what this moment is teaching you. Routine gives your pain a voice without letting it control you. It channels your emotions into action, reflection, learning, and growth. Each early morning becomes a reminder that your past does not define your future, your habits do. When you show up daily despite hurt, disappointment, or fear, you prove to yourself that pain did not defeat you, it educated you. This is how purpose is born, not from comfort, but from courage practiced every day. Routine creates stability when life feels unstable. It gives your mind something to hold on to when emotions feel overwhelming. Through repetition, you begin to heal, not suddenly, but steadily. As often expressed by Muniba Mazari, your scars are not your weakness, they are evidence of your survival and your strength. When you turn pain into discipline, mornings into meaning, and struggle into structure, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the author of your journey. Routine does not erase the past, but it empowers you to rise above it with dignity, resilience, and a deep sense of purpose that fuels your growth every single day.